Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group. Lab Addicts Music Group.
What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? It's your boy Maas, and this is another edition of Adult Conversations with Maas Appeal. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Before we go any further, let's give thanks to the Most High for allowing us to see another day, see another sunrise, see another sunset, and to love the people that we cherish. With that being said, I apologize about last week, everybody. I apologize. But there was a good reason that after Monday I didn't do any shows. And the reason was, like you all know, I have my own business. I do government contracting, and last week I was finishing up a bid that I submitted. And in the midst of working on that bid that I have submitted, I won another contract vehicle. So my business has now won 2 government contracts. And yeah, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for basically accomplishing something that a lot of people didn't think I could do. And yeah, that was the reason that I missed last week. But tonight we continue looking at immigrants and immigration and how we as Black Americans, FBAs, how we're viewed. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching on X. And I want to give a shout out to everyone that's watching on Instagram. And most definitely shouts out to everybody that's on YouTube, the MA family, the Maas Appeal family, and everybody else that tunes in. What's going on, Jug? What's going on, Camille? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, hard work, hard work. But y'all already know this is the space where we talk about real issues, real raw, and without apology. And tonight's topic is it's gonna ruffle some feathers, it's gonna rattle some cages. But it's gonna piss a few people off. But that's okay. Because y'all already know me. If you're not shaking the table, you just passing the salt. So I'm a table shaker. I'm shaking the table. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. They want our culture, but not us. The immigrant gaze on Black America, how we're viewed. Do some immigrants secretly believe that Black Americans don't belong here? We got different groups of immigrants talking about Black Americans should be deported. Let that sink in. We got groups of people here that think we should be deported. I mean, you've heard the whispers, I've heard the whispers. We've all seen the microaggressions. And we've all been in spaces where when you walk into the area, it becomes silent when there should be no silence. And all this stuff it raises uncomfortable questions. How did we get to a place where people who just arrived here in America feel comfortable to judge Black people whose ancestors built this country? All the abuses that FBA's and Black people's ancestors took, and we have people that come to America and look down on us. Scorp mama. But before I go any further, I just want everybody to know this is not an immigrant rant. This is not what this is. I have many immigrant friends. I have friends that are immigrants that came to America and went through the processes to become legalized citizens. And yeah, this is not an anti-immigrant rant. This is a rant looking at how the people that are put out on the news view Black people. We welcome anybody that's coming here. YWG, we recognize anybody that's coming here looking for the American dream that's going to come and become a legal citizen and pay taxes just like we do. I respect everybody's struggle. I respect everybody's hustle. I respect that. But what I don't respect and what we won't tolerate is immigrants who arrive and then absorb America's anti-blackness. Like it's a part of the welcome package. Okay, we're in America, we're gonna get the American dream, and we're gonna treat Black people bad. Even though we just got here yesterday. Y'all already know. Y'all know the people that's told, don't be like Black people. You can dress like them, you can like their music, you can, take all their customs and symbolism, but just don't be like them. Be them, but not them. Y'all already know. They say we're violent, they say we're lazy, they say we don't value education, and those are all misnomers. These people don't even give us a chance. They don't even meet us. They don't talk to us, anything. They always have a leery eye. And we're going to talk about that tonight. And what's crazy is they took what they've seen on TV and what they've been told by all types of publications that, they took that bait. They took that bait. I know Scorp. I'm coming. But now you got to ask yourself, why is it that some immigrant households, Black people are discussed with disdain? Why is this? Why are we the punchline? Don't be like them. Don't be like that group. But Black Americans, we're not just a group. We are the group. We are the group that everybody looks to for their social norms. We're the descendants of the enslaved. We're the descendants of the people that built this country. The people that picked cotton and nursed babies and built wealth. We died in every war that's been fought in this country. Black people have died in every war that has been fought in this country. And even fought for our individual rights. We didn't immigrate here. We was brought here. Some of us were already here. Some of us were brought here. Some of us were already here, but we didn't immigrate here. We didn't cross the border. Some of us were bought and some of us were sold. We didn't get a chance to assimilate. We just had to survive. So when immigrants come to America and they start looking down on us, questioning our contributions, questioning our value, questioning our place in America, it's insulting and it's anti-history. I mean, we've all heard the stuff. Black Americans are always complaining. We don't take advantage of the opportunities that afforded us. We need to forget about racism. Racism is over. We just need to work harder. These are all things that we've heard. And these are things that immigrants come to America repeating. Caramel sweets, caramel sweets. I saw those pictures. Looked like y'all had a good time. Caramel sweets had on the orange. He had on the orange this weekend. And the thing about it is these statements that immigrants make when they come over here, it's not constructive criticism. It's basically them parroting white supremacy, just with a different accent. But what's crazy is them same immigrants come over here and they want the protections that we fought for, that our ancestors got bit by dogs, hit with police billy clubs. These are all the protections that they come here seeking. Then they look down on us. And some of them genuinely believe that Black people are the problem. They genuinely believe we are the problem. We are the problem. What's wrong with America? We're the people that are locked up. I mean, immigrants come here, they act like, we created the jails. We created redlining. We created the underfunded schools that we have to go to. This is stuff that's done to us, but they don't look at it like that. They don't look at it like that. They don't look at it like that. I like my shirt. But yeah, they don't look at it like that. How can a group come to America? How Black people should be deported? Just listen to the sound of that. You got people saying, why can't Black people be deported? Can't be deported because we're Americans. We're legal citizens. Hey, chill out. But what do you all think? Everybody wants to be a ninja until you get the ninja treatment. Then when you get the ninja treatment, then you want ninjas to come help you. After y'all look down on ninjas. We still have people complaining about Black people not joining the immigration fight with the undocumented Latinos, Hispanics, undocumented Europeans, undocumented Africans. But the thing about it is you don't hear about America going after undocumented Europeans. Maybe that'll change at some point, but you don't hear about the government, ICE, going after undocumented Europeans. But how can these people look down on us? We're the problem and we have to come up with the solution. Think about that. The problem that we didn't create, we have to come up with the solution for. All the while, the solutions that we come up with, there are barricades put up in front of all those solutions. All the leaders that we've ever had have been unalived. As well, undocumented people from Asia. It's a crazy existence that we as Black people live here in America. And we talk about this whenever we have this conversation. It always comes up that, you know, Black people that have left the United States, that live abroad, they tend to have better lives. So y'all know that we're going to touch on that aspect as well. Is it time for Black Americans to leave and let the immigrants have what America has to offer? Now, we know this is not going to happen on a large scale. Man, then we have people that are talking about that Black people should segregate, leave the country, segregate. But none of this stuff says stay here in America and thrive. Why is that? Why are all the solutions that people come up with, why does it always involve us leaving and going to another country, segregating away from America's tactics? I'm not sure how it can, if we were segregated, I'm not sure how that would happen because we're still here in America. But we talk about these things. We talk about these things. Y'all like the shirt? Yeah, shouts out to Caramel Sweets. Yeah, she made the shirt. Got mass appeal on the back of it. Yeah, Caramel Sweets. I appreciate you, baby. I appreciate you. YWG said it's time for us to leave. It's time for us to have that option to leave. I think the option is there. I read an article the other day about this Black man and his wife. They moved them and their 5 children to Thailand, and basically they are living a great life. I also saw a video yesterday about a young Black woman from Cleveland, Ohio, who moved to Japan. She moved to Japan as a teacher. She's been over there for 8 years, and basically she loves it. She said she does plan on moving back to the States. Well, not back to the States. She said she plans on moving to Mexico so that she can be closer to her family in the States. But she says she has no intentions of moving back to the US just based off of the things that she has been able to do outside of the country. She's in Japan and basically she has free health care. The job that she has as a teacher. And what's crazy is the teacher program that she's in That same program reached out to me to ask me did I want to move to China to teach English, but it just didn't pay a lot. But it seems as the amount that they were paying is good, because basically she had a 2-bedroom apartment with a sunroom and a balcony, and I think she said her rent was $235 a month. And the reason it was that is, I think she said it was like 500 or something, but her job as the job where she teaches at, basically they paid a stipend, and which lowered her rent. And then she went through how much it cost for her to eat, how much it cost for her to go to the grocery store, and roughly it came up to like $500. So she said that having that type of living and being outside of America and being able to acquire wealth, where she said she makes $30,000 a year as a teacher in Japan. You know what? Let me see if I can locate the video. But YWG said the US is very, very toxic. It's very toxic. Um, why do, and I'm getting a little bit off the subject, but why do immigrants that come to America shun us? But it seems that when we go to other countries, it's like it's like people become rock stars. People want to take pictures with you. And the video that if I'm able to find about the black girl in Japan, you'll see where people were just coming up to her, just speaking to her. Just, it's like everywhere we go, even though we're disdained, everyone wants to know what we like, what we do, and things of that nature. So why is that? And we already know that the way that black people are portrayed on the news and how what news people look at is going to paint a picture of black people that is going to prejudice us even before they get here to the country. But I have had friends that have immigrated here, and basically they say that they thought one way about black people, but then they met some black people and they had interactions with people, and they said that it was the total opposite of what they had been told. They had been told not to, deal with black people. So what is it about us that we're disdained? What is it? What is it about us? But everybody looks to us for guidance and acceptance. Whenever somebody wants to be accepted, they always come looking for us to join their cause, to, you know, humanize whatever it is they are trying to accomplish. Oh, wow. But yeah, this young girl moved to Japan as a teacher, and you'll see how she lived. And you're gonna be like, wow, she was able to get that type of apartment and have this type of a living while making $30,000 a year. And she said that the $30,000 a year that she makes in China basically is upper middle class. Upper middle class. So I'm looking for that video, and I'm gonna try to find it. But how do you all feel? What is it? Why does America want immigrants that are coming here to America? Why do they want them to not learn the ways of America from us? Is it because they don't want they don't want us to give them a jaded outlook on the American dream? What is it? What is it, you all? Why does America not want immigrants to come and be matriculated into American society by black people? to the point where Black people have been propagandized to the point where people have a disdain of us. YWG said the US is very toxic. YWG said they are told to shun us upon. Why? Why are they told to shun us upon entry into the country? Why is that? I wish I could find this video, but I can't locate it. But there are other ones on here, but I wanted that one. Chris Mogg said, we just want Black culture to stop having kids out of wedlock, become responsible, and be accountable. Ghetto behavior is what we don't want around. I can, Chris, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Chris said that we just want Black culture to stop having children. But I think all cultures, it's not just Black culture. Lots of other cultures have children out of wedlock, so that's not a Black thing. So yeah, no culture wants a lot of children out of wedlock, but that's not exclusive to Black people, Chris. We do want people to become responsible and be accountable. All people, everyone should be accountable. And ghetto behavior is what we don't want around us. And I understand that, but Black people there are other cultures that are more ghetto than Black Americans. And there are a lot of immigrants that are running to America from the ghettos of their country. So I'm with you, Chris, but you know I'm snap back, brother. But yeah, I'm with you on that, Chris. But yeah, I don't think that any of those things that you said are exclusive to Black people. But Black people's culture, something that should be exclusive to them, isn't. Because lots of people come to America and bastardize Black culture and pick it and take what little portions out of it they want, but still shun Black people. Grandma Sweets, thanks for stopping through. Thanks for stopping through. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments. But yeah, go check out Carmel Sweets. If you need some t-shirts or anything, go check her out. Juggernaut said, people see stereotypes before they arrive and think that's who we are. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Juggernaut said they want anyone that comes here to learn their rule. Okay. I can get with that. I can get with that, Juggernaut. I can get with that. YWG said he works with Hispanic teens and they put the G in ghetto. Yeah, ghetto is there's lots of ghettos outside of America that are 100 times worse than the ghettos here in America. But yes, We do not want ghetto culture perpetuated and basically glorified, but it seems that the immigrants that come here take that ghetto culture and bastardize it, but then blame it on Black people. And that's what we're not going to let happen. Because a lot of immigrants come from where they bring ghetto culture from their countries to America. But, let's not, I don't want this to be a mudslinging where this is not what this is. This is, we want to have constructive criticism as to why immigrants come to America already with a negative outlook on people that they have never came into contact with, other than the propaganda that they see on news, internet, and whatever other social platforms they get information from. That's what we're talking about, is why. Chris said that, they don't want they don't want ghetto culture, children. That's not what they want around immigrant culture, but some of that is brought here by immigrants. We talk about welfare queens and things like that. Lots of immigrants come here and get on welfare. Now, at some point, they probably get off of it. And we're not talking about people who use welfare for what it is, something to get a leg up and to get off of it, not people who get welfare and stay on it for the rest of their lives like it's a way of life. Juggernaut said, Black culture influences the world. Black culture influences the world. So immigrants come to America and they have a disdain for Black people, but Black culture reaches all around the world and it's what's perpetuated. I really don't. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I don't really understand how people can disdain Black people, but all of their cultural norms and cues and things they take from Black culture. We're asking, why do immigrants disdain Black people, but come here and pick up all of our norms and customs? The way we dress, the music we listen to, the way we dance. And a lot of immigrant cultures, their men come here and they talk to Black women, but they don't want Black men talking to their women. That's a big double standard. I see Hispanic guys oogling over Black women every day, but they do not want you to come to their house with their daughters or their sisters or anything of that nature. I see African men come to America and get Black. Now, there are some brothers that are lucky enough to find them an African queen. There are some brothers. One of my fraternity brothers just had a beautiful wedding with the African queen. So it's not. There are some that are open. There are some, but for the most part, immigrants do not want their children, their daughters, dating Black men when they come to America. But their men will sure date a Black woman for sure. YWG said they often cosplay Black people. A lot of it is cosplaying. If you're talking in a vernacular, in a accent that is not naturally how you talk, you're cosplaying. You're acting. You're acting a part. But I just really don't understand it. What is it about Black people that there's such disdain for? I mean, if anything, we should be exalted, because everything, every obstacle, all the lynchings, all the you can't go to our school, every obstacle that has been put in front of us, we have conquered it. So why would you disdain us? Why would you come here and not want to get with us? We are the people who made it through all of this turmoil. Or is it that America's scared that if you come here, that you will become a part of our revolution? Is that what is that where is there a fear? Is there a fear that melanated people will come together as one, even though has never happened in the history of the world? Like I said last week on the show, melanin is not, and the thing that's, I hate to say this because I'm a Pan-Africanist. And before we go any further, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. And to everybody that's watching on X, Instagram, and Facebook, I got to cut your water off so you can come over here and join the conversation. So with that being said, shouts out to everybody who was watching on Facebook. Come to YouTube. Shouts out to everybody who's watching on X. Come to YouTube. And shouts out to everybody that was watching on Instagram. Come to YouTube. Now, back to the conversation. Why wouldn't is that what it is? Does America not want immigrants to come here and get a leg up on what it is that America does by associating with Black people? I mean, could that be part of it? Because this disdain for Black people just seems manufactured. It just seems manufactured. Or am I seeing it wrong, you all? Okay, we got Cassandra. Great, Cassandra. Thank you for coming through, and really thank you for sharing your opine. So, Cassandra Grayson said, "I want nothing to do with Africa. Africa has stolen our stories, added us to the African Constitution. Stop trying to steal American culture." Ooh-wee. Cassandra came into the conversation swinging. Africa has stolen our stories. Okay. I know lots of Africans say that whenever you get into a conversation with immigrants, they always say that Black people have no culture, but we do have culture. Our culture is indigenous, because uncommon to what people think, some Black Americans were already here when Christopher Columbus arrived. He didn't discover anything. He arrived. And there were already some Black people here. So a lot of immigrants need to correct themselves. And I'll be honest, I was a Pan-Africanist while I was in college. I was a Pan-Africanist because I was a person that associated melanin with blackness. But as I grew and I got older, I began to see that no, melanin is not a connector. There are just different groups of people that are melanated. Melanin does not connect us, even though people want to say it and say Pan-Africanism and we're all one. No, no. Melanin is not a connector. There are just different groups of people that are melanated. And sometimes we come together for different issues and causes, but no, melanin is not a connector. And if you disagree with me, I'm more than welcome to listen to what you have to say. Because like I said, my minor was African American history. I viewed myself as a Pan-Africanist because I looked at things and I thought that melanin was a connector between. No, melanin is not a connector. It's not, contrary to belief or what they want you to think. Now, we can all come together, melanated people, but melanated people fight against each other just like Europeans and melanated people fight against each other. There are groups in Africa. There are different tribes in Africa. They're both melanated, but they'll kill each other like they was Europeans. One was, yeah. So I used to believe that melanin was a connector, but now I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But Cassandra, thank you for your opinion. I appreciate it. Okay, Torino. Hope I pronounced that right. Torino said they agree with Cassandra. I don't want nothing to do with Africa. Nobody hates Africa more than Africans. Wow. Okay. Nobody hates Africa more than Africans. We're getting some good viewpoints tonight. Wow. Okay. Cassandra said, check out the African Union page. Cassandra's 65 and know that. Please check out the link today, right now. They're trading with Black American buying power. I mean, yeah. I mean, you all know the buying power that we have in America. If Black people didn't spend any money for one day, if Black people didn't spend any money in America for a week, it would cripple the nation. But we don't have the fortitude to do it. Africa sold their own. TMI, salute, brother, salute. Cassandra, I can't disagree with you on that. I can't disagree with you on that. Africans did sell Africans. They did. They did. Why do we see the most hated always duplicated? Y'all saw President Trump yesterday at the FIFA championship. He got booed mercilessly. I'm looking for the video of the Black girl in Japan, but I thought I looked at it yesterday, but I can't seem to find it. But I'm going to find it. Wow. Okay. FBA Judah said 1.2 trillion annually is the buying power of Black people in America. 1.2 trillion. If we didn't spend any money for a week, we would cripple the nation. We would cripple the nation, y'all. Cassandra said Africans have added us as their sixth region. FBA Judah, that's a lot of buying power. That's a lot of Black people spending money on designer clothes. That means nothing. Kenny Anderson said African Americans sell dope and guns to African Americans. Kenny Anderson, you are 100% correct with that. Lots of Black people destroy their own. We can't, we're talking about immigrants and stuff, but we have to talk about self-hate as well. And African Americans do sell death to other African Americans. Could that be why immigrants stay away from Black Americans when they get here to America? Because they look at us as they help with the destruction of their own people. But I don't know. FBA Judah said, imagine what we bring in. Our gross GDP would be the fourth largest in the, yes. And that is one of the reasons why a lot of people say that Black people should segregate, is because of that buying power right there. If there were Black businesses and we shopped amongst ourselves, we would be a powerful group. For one, Black people have to come up with a political party. We have to come up with the political party, y'all, because the only way that we can fight legislation is with legislation. Cassandra says she is a Black American. We knew that, Cassandra. Believe us, we knew you were Black. Kenny Anderson said, Europeans are responsible for the initiation of the slave trade. We don't need their money or lifestyle. I think Kenny is a proponent of segregation. There are lots of people that say that Black people need to segregate. But Kenny, I'm gonna ask you this question just like I asked Juggernaut when he brought this question up a couple weeks ago. If we segregate, where do we go? And we had a long back and forth about this subject a couple weeks ago. If Black people were to segregate, like you said, we don't need their money, we don't need their lifestyle. That's a segregationist point of view. Where would we go? FBA Judah said, we make more money than every African nation. but we don't have the political power. How do we get the political power, FBA Judah? Because that's where the fight begins. Cassandra Grace. Okay, so Cassandra says she grew up in segregation. Cassandra, do we need to, being that you grew up in segregation, do we need to go back to segregation in order for Black people to have the lifestyle that they want? Nobody never, exactly. FBA Judah, I tell people every day, there's no sympathy for the Black man. There's no sympathy for the Black man. There's not a such thing as sympathy for the Black man. We're coming up on 1 hour on the show. We have 51 minutes. Hit the like button. Hit the like button for your boy. Hit the like button. Exactly. That's what I've been saying, FBA Judah. We need to create our own party, the People's Party, and back our own candidates. Because I don't believe this 12%, we're only 12% of the population in America. I don't believe that. Our votes sway whatever political vote is needed in Black people. 10% is not going to sway the vote as much as Black people sway the vote. So I'm not a person that believes that we're only 10 to 12 to 15% of the total population in America. I don't believe that. I think that our population of people is much, much larger in America. And I think those numbers are skewed so that we don't think that we're as powerful as we are. Okay, Cassandra said during segregation, she walked everywhere and we suffered. So I would say that Cassandra is not a proponent of going back to segregation. 2000. I've seen a lot of videos going about Africans don't like Black Americans, which is stereotyping, by the way. Have any genuine discussion about this issue? We need to bring some immigrants. 022, I'll put the link out. I'm gonna put the link out. You know what? No, we're not gonna do that. But you are right. You are right. And this isn't, and I said this in the beginning, 022, this is not an anti-immigrant rant. This is a rant against the immigrants that come to America and disdain Black people without knowing anything about Black people. That's what we're ranting about. This isn't about the Africans that don't like what that is a part of this conversation. But for this conversation, we're talking about the immigrants that come to America with already a negative outlook on Black people, and they've never met Black people. That's who we're talking to. That's what we're talking about. But I value your opinion, and I do agree with what you're saying about I need to have an immigrant up here with some immigrant representation. Maybe the next show I'll do that. FBA, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. Because we talk adult conversations over here, man. We don't run from the topics. We cover them and we talk about them from our point of view. Scorp Mama said island folks don't like us either. Come on, Scorp. Come on, Scorp. Come on, Scorp. YWG said them folks use numbers too. I agree with that. Exactly, FBA Judah. How can we spend $1.2 trillion every year and we're only 13% of the population? Exactly. It doesn't make the addition ain't adding. The addition ain't adding. It ain't adding. 10% of the population of the United States cannot have a buying power of 1.2 trillion, and we're we're middle class to poverty, and we're 10 to 15%, but we spend 1.2 trillion annually. The numbers ain't adding up. The numbers ain't adding up. The numbers are not adding up. 1.2 trillion by 13% of the population, it's not adding up. FBA Judah said he believes we are 60 million deep in America. I know that we're more than 10 to 15%. I do know that. I don't know how much, but I think that America keeps because they don't want us to know how powerful we really are here in America. So I don't believe that 12, 13% of I never believe that. Squirt Mama said, island folks and immigrants come to take our resources. We go to take some of their resources too, Scorp. It's a lot of not just black people, but it's a lot of people going to the Caribbean and going to Mexico. And because healthcare is much, much cheaper when you go to the islands, you go to the Caribbean, and when you go to Mexico. It's much, much cheaper. Cassandra, I will look at the African Union page after this show, and I most definitely will talk about it. I'm Cassandra. If you want to talk about the African Union, I'm going to do my research on the African Union page, and we will talk about that. If not this week, we'll talk about that early next week. But yeah, we're going to talk about the topics that y'all want to talk about. That's what your boy's going to do. We're coming up on 1 hour in the show. Hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. Get me into the algorithm. Get me into, hit the like button. It don't cost nothing. Share this video. Subscribe to the page. We have adult conversations over here. We don't run from differing opinions. We're going to talk about it. We're not going to argue. We're not going to shout people down. We're going to let everybody get their point out. That's what we do here. That's what adults do. We have conversations because the object of the conversations is to come out with a better outcome. We all want a better outcome for all of us. So yeah, let's talk about it. FBA Judah. Man, FBA Judah been coming with it tonight. Yeah, for real. Brian Nichols said 15%. Brian, I don't believe that, Brian. I believe we're more than 15%. Brian Perez said, wow, the hate towards immigrants. There's no hate. There's no hate. See, Daniel, you're coming in. I wish you would have been here at 9 o'clock, Dan. I said this was not an anti-immigrant rant. We're having conversations about the immigrants that come to America and already have a preconceived notion about Black people. And we are the people that the immigrants, we are the people that fought for the rights that immigrants are coming here and taking advantage of. And you can't come here and hate the people that fought for the stuff that you want to use. That's the only thing we're saying. This is not anti-immigrant hate. I have immigrants in my family. I have immigrant friends. We're talking about immigrants that come to America and don't want to become legal citizens, but want all of the accoutrements that come with being a citizen of the United States. And that's not right. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about hating immigrants. I said that at the beginning of the show, but I'll explain it every time somebody comes in here and says that I'm having an anti-immigrant rant, because that's not what this is. Let's not make this conversation something that it isn't. He said, wild hate towards immigrants when it was the white man who segregated you and lynched you. We talk about that on a daily basis, Daniel. A lot of people say we talk about it too much, but I'm glad that you brought that up because now I know we're going to talk about lynching and segregating. But there is no hate towards immigrants. I said that at the beginning of the show. The hate is towards the immigrants that come to America and disdain us. And we are the people that fought for the rights that immigrants want. That's what this conversation is about. It ain't about hating no immigrants. Got lots of immigrant friends. I know that sounds like it may not sound right, but yeah, I got plenty of immigrant friends, and we have these conversations all the time. Brian Nichols said about 50 million. Laura Wise coming through. Immigrants normally seek refuge from a nation full of their own, destroying their own, typically. Other countries are more honest about their classism. Okay, Laura Wise. Okay, Laura Wise. Okay. Daniel said the U.S. has invaded countries to put the neoliberal social order in dictatorship. I can't disagree with that, Daniel. I can't disagree with that. The U.S. has invaded lots of countries, but that ain't what we're talking about tonight. That ain't what we're talking about tonight. FBA Judah said, why aren't FBAs a part of the African Union since we are all? Thank you, FBA Judah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why aren't FBAs a part of the African Union since we all brothers? No one has ever asked us to come to the table because a lot of these groups say that we have no culture, which is crazy. You're saying some good, you're saying some, I don't agree. I don't disagree with you, Daniel. I don't. Laura Wise said, the conversations about American expats sound a lot like this conversation, that we come to their country to use their resources with American. I'll be honest, when I go to other countries, I always humbly go. I am not the person that goes and says, you got to speak English. And I've been, last time I was in Mexico, there were some people from America that were mad that the people that they were ordering their food from didn't speak English. And I'm like, you're in Mexico. Why would you think that you're in Mexico that they're speaking English? No. Yeah, when I go to other, so I understand. I understand what you're saying, Laura Wise, but yeah, I never travel like that. You don't learn when you travel arrogantly like that. You have to go with a willingness to learn when you go to these other countries. I've seen it. I have seen that imperialist attitude. Like, why aren't you speaking English? I've seen it. So I've seen that, Laura Wise. Daniel Perez said, Daniel, this conversation is not about you, Daniel. It's not about you. because yeah, I knew that you were an ally just from the rhetoric that you were speaking and the tone. You came in with a respectful tone, so I already knew that you were an ally, Daniel. So yeah, you being an ally is not something that's in question. Daniel says he's Mexican and he respects black leaders and others who see that's see Daniel, you didn't let the propaganda of the United States create a jaded outlook in your head when it comes to black people. But we're saying that lots of immigrants come here and already have a disdain for FBAs. They already have a built-in disdain for FBAs. And in the beginning of the show, I said that this show was not an anti-immigrant rant. We are talking about the people that come here to America, a place where we have fought, died, been lynched, lived through Jim Crow, civil rights acts, everything, to have for immigrants to have the ability to come to America, but then come here and have a disdain for the people whose backs you are coming here on. That's the people we're talking to. We're not talking to you, Daniel, and I appreciate you and I thank you for being an ally. Okay. Daniel said he is for black people getting reparations. That's a different outlook. That's a different outlook. Okay, Kenny Anderson. We need to protect our farmers, exactly, and their farms and feed ourselves. We need to build farm communities and clean our bodies and minds. We have to talk truth about Christianity and democracy. Kenny, you coming? I like how Kenny thinks. Kenny, YWG, your weekend gardener, he is on the same thing that you're on about protecting the farmers and growing our own food and feeding ourselves. YWG is a big proponent of growing your own food. Wow. Laura Wise, I am not serving Black Republican tonight. I'm not liberal. I'm not a Republican. I'm independent, but I mean, black people were conservative. Black people were never liberal. I don't know where we liberal, and I don't know where this came from. I didn't grow up in a liberal household. Everybody in my grandmothers, was strict, conservative. Wasn't no I couldn't do liberal things in my grandmother's house. Nah, I get my ass whooped. So I'm conservative. I'm not liberal. But you funny. Cassandra said, you do know that in 2022, we were burying our people, right? Biden's executive order number 14089, African diaspora, bro. You need to check it out. I'm gonna check it out, Cassandra. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check that out. Daniel said he agrees with Kenny. Okay, we got Amagashi Joy. She said the powers that be have an agenda. We know this. There's always been an agenda. Always been an agenda. We've every agenda they've had, it still hasn't stopped us. Cassandra said some immigrants feel entitled. I don't want to be a part of that. I told you, if you check out their page, you'll see how. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check it out. Cassandra, I'm going to do a show on the African Union. And like FBA said, if we all brothers, then why don't FBAs have a seat at that table at the African Union? We're all brothers. FBA should have some representation and be a part of the African Union. I'm 100% with the FBA brother. Yeah, FBA Judah. Kenny Anderson said, the African Union has not been effective in liberating the African nations from colonial banking. And I will say that Traore has been very, very effective. I did an article on Traore. I did a show on Traore about a month ago, and Traore is creating unity amongst the nations. He has created a pact with Mali, his nation. I can't think of the other one. I'm sorry. Can somebody tell me the three nations that Traore, they have a coalition in Africa? Because yeah, the African Union and Traore, I don't think that they are dealing with the African Union. I think that they have created their own stronghold between the three nations, his nation, Mali, and I can't think of the last nation. Because somebody, I'm trying to stay on point. So can somebody look that up for me? Kenny Anderson, the legal immigrants are brainwashed during their preparation for entry. Americans want this hostility. Divided. Kenny Anderson, man, every time you legal immigrants are brainwashed. I think that we know that the United States is culpable in trying to create this separation between immigrants and FBAs, because FBAs have, I mean, we've made it through everything that has been thrown at us, every type of oppression that has been thrown at us. We're still here. But if the immigrants were to come here and they were to get with us, America would be in trouble. America would be in trouble. Daniel said, even undocumented workers who have been here for years deserve it. They do, Daniel, but there is a path, Daniel, but they got to take the first steps to do. They have to take the first steps to start that process. They can't be made to. You can't be made to want to be a citizen. You have to walk that path that's been created. And if the people that are undocumented don't begin to walk that path to get their green card, to become a citizen, I mean, what can be done? You can tell people that there's a path, like you said, there's a path to citizenship, and they deserve it, but they have to take those first steps to that path. No one can make them want to be a citizen. No one made them want to come over here and make the money. They came over here willingly to get that money. So you got to be able to willingly want to become a citizen. But a lot of people don't want to do that, and that's understood. But you can't want all of the securities of the nation and not be a citizen of the nation. That doesn't make sense. People pay taxes. You pay taxes. We don't want people that aren't paying into that pool to pull out of that pool. That's how there's no pool left when we get to retirement age. That's why there will be no Social Security money now. It's because of undocumented people that have come here and used the social services, use Social Security as undocumented people. So yeah, there's a path, but they got to walk it. Right. Thank you, Amagishi. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They have went outside of the African Union to create their own network. And they are recruiting other nations to join them. So the African Union, they really haven't done a lot for the people in Africa. So there are people like Traore, who is teaming up with other African nations and creating what the African Union didn't do. Daniel said there is no path. I think there is, Daniel. I think there is a path for them. There's a path to citizenship. They just have to walk it. I mean, yeah, they have to want to be a citizen. You can't make them want to be a citizen. They have to walk that path on their own. If they don't want to walk that path, then they're going to get swift justice from President Trump. Swift justice. And I don't know if it's justice. We're just going to say swift arresting. We don't know if it's justice. Cassandra said, you will be surprised what they have done. They can have all of that cause Africans aren't her cousin. She said she'll die and go to hell before joining them. She said they slave traders. Okay. Cassandra's getting off her chest tonight. That's what but we here for it. Man, please, Cassandra, get it all off your chest. We're here for it. Her great, I don't even want to talk. Yeah, everybody, all FBAs have people in their families that have been lynched. Goes without saying. Yeah, exactly. YWG said one issue with the path is ICE is waiting at immigration for those seeking green cards. ICE is arresting people at the immigration office while people are taking their green card tests. Yes, that is happening. Cassandra, you need to go check out YWG, Your Weekend Gardeners page. He's a gardener as well. So yeah, Cassandra, go check out his page. We're gonna go check. I'm gonna go check out Cassandra's page. Cassandra, I'm gonna subscribe to your page tonight. I'll be over there to check you out. Well, Cassandra, I hope you subscribe to my page, and then I'll subscribe to your page in a couple of days. But yeah, please come back, Cassandra. I enjoyed your input. We need more input like you give. So please come back. But yeah, keep your garden intact. Eat healthy. Kenny Anderson said the AU and Traore are not exactly. Traore is not dealing with the African Union. He went outside the African Union to create his alliances. Kenny said the AU and Traore are not together. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are the AES, the Alliance des Etats Saheliens, the alliance of the Sahelian states. Yeah. Traore is not dealing with the African Union. And I think that he's not dealing with them because he thinks that the European nations still have some control over the African Union. And I would agree with Traore on that the African Union is heavily influenced by the colonizers. Right. YWG said undocumented can't get Social Security over time because I'm and I understand that. I understand they can't, but there are other social services that they use that have been depleted. That's the only thing I'm saying. No, they can't get, but the reason that we don't have any Social Security is because it's been rampaged. That's why we don't have it. Kenny Anderson, yeah, they are. Immigrants are being kidnapped at the immigration hearings while going through the process. And that is dead wrong. That is one, I believe that if you are in the process to become a citizen, you should be exempt from ICE being able to take you. Now, I will say that if the people, if the immigrants that are here, if they are in the process to begin to becoming a citizen, then they should be exempt from anything ICE is doing. I don't agree with them being able to run up in the immigration offices while individuals are doing their green card tests and doing their green card interviews and to be arrested. That is kidnapping. I agree with you 100%, Kenny Anderson. I agree with you. Yes, thank you for coming through, Cassandra. Thank you. I enjoyed Cassandra Grayson's commentary. Great opinions, great opinions. Squirt Mama said the Africans bought into the Essence Festival. I did not know that. That is something that I did not know. FBA Judah said his grandfather was lynched. I'm sorry to hear that, FBA Judah, man. I you know, I'm like, let me move on. Law wise. An arrest would mean you have rights and due process. They're capturing people and then sending them to prison. The path to citizenship is expensive and undocumented workers are severely underpaid. That is the truth. That is the truth. That is the truth. We just crossed the hour and 20 minutes. Hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. Help your boy out. Get an algorithm so more people can join the conversation with us. This page can grow. Hit the like button. They are severely underpaid. I'm Agisha Joy. The African Union has part of its budget funded by the European Union, although this is not public information. I knew it. I knew that there was a reason that Traore was not dealing with, and I knew it was the African, and yeah, their budget is funded by the European Union. Makes sense. Makes sense. I'm Agashi Joy. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please, thank you. I did hear it. So that's what Stephanie Mills was talking about is the African. I haven't had a chance to look, but I did see where Stephanie Mills was speaking about it. But I did not know that the reason she was speaking out is because Africans have bought into what I need to look that up because what are the Africans doing to the Essence Fest? Why? That was our initial question tonight. Why do immigrants disdain Black people? What is the reasoning behind this disdain? Because if you have a disdain for a person without knowing them, getting to know that person is not going to change that disdain. That disdain has to be unlearned. So in order to unlearn something, we have to know the source of it. And that's what I'm asking is, what is the source other than propaganda and pop culture? But these are not things that are rooted in fact. So that's why I'm trying to figure out why immigrants have such a jaded look on Black people from stuff that can't be substantiated. FBA Judah, I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, we gonna talk the real over here. Yeah, we gonna talk about the real issues, because that's the only way we're gonna get to a point where things become tangible. Because we want to have tangible conversations. This is not the channel where you're gonna come over here and it's gonna be a bunch of clickbait and it's gonna be people over here. Ain't gonna be nobody walking on their hands, and ain't gonna be nobody twerking on this show. We gonna talk about real issues. Now, sometimes we have fun talking about the issues when we talk about relationships and stuff like that. But when we have real serious conversations, we're serious about those conversations. So, FBA Judah, I'm glad you found me. Please turn people on. Please don't let this be the last time you come to the show. I appreciated your opine, your things that you said. Yeah, I need more people in here like you. Everybody that came through tonight. Juggernaut said they may see Black people as their competition. I don't. I can see that, but if an immigrant can't really come here and compete because they can't agree, an immigrant can compete because they know how to live amongst themselves until they can have the money to buy something. Whereas we are very, very in. One thing I will say about immigrants is they are very familial. They are very, very family oriented. They will live 3-4 generations in one household. We as Black Americans, we're very, very independent. We've been told that the generational curse of when you turn 18, you got to move out. Immigrants don't do that. We begin as Black Americans, we begin paying our own way probably earlier than any other nationalities out here, because we have been raised, and parents say that they didn't do it, but the generational curse was turn 18, you got to move out. You got to get out of my house. When at 18, you're not ready for what's really out there in the world. You're not. At 18 years old, you're not ready to pay bills. So that's another thing. We're going to have to talk about that one day too. The generational curses of Black people. We're going to talk about a lot of different things going forward on this channel. I told y'all as we got in the season 2 that conversations were going to change. Oh, hey, Daniel. Always, man. The conversations will always be civil, man. Everybody has just because we don't agree, we can agree to disagree, but we can always be civil because, we're learning from one another. You can't learn if you're yelling and we don't do that over here, man. We're grown. Yeah, we don't talk about people. We don't call people out of their names on this channel. That's not what we're going to do over here. These are adult conversations. Not over here, my man. Not over here. It's not what we do. Kenny Anderson agrees with Cassandra about the immigration arrogance coming from the middle and upper class Africans. Tribal history is the measure that Africans use. We African Americans need to reconstruct our culture. What are we going to reconstruct it to, Kenny? If we're going to reconstruct our culture, what is that structure going to be based on? Exactly, Judah. I moved out when I was 17, Judah. So yeah, it's a generational curse, man. We were out here paying bills and being adults when we were still supposed to be living at home and learning the ways of the world. Really. But it's too late to complain about it. We just got to change those generational curses. We got to change those generational curses. Scorp Mama said the immigrants are trying to change our culture. And Scorp said our culture is not Africa. It's not. It's not. It's not. Exactly. Kenny, man, we all went through that. If you are over 40, if you're over 40, really 45, you understand when I say that your parents told you at 18 you had to move out. We were not ready. Believe me, I was not ready to pay gas, electric, phone, water. No, at 18 years old, I was not ready for that. But I had to do it. I had to do it. Those are generational curses. We're going to do a show on generational curses. We will get to that. But as I stated at the beginning of the show, this show was not about anti-immigrant. The show was not about anti-immigrant. And I hope that we did not come across as being anti-immigrant. We're talking about the immigrants that come to America and look down their noses at Black people. And Black people are the foundational people who built this nation, who got bit by dogs, who got hit by billy clubs, who went through Jim Crow, who went through institutionalized racism, industrial racism. Any type of racism you can think of, Black people have been through it. So for immigrants to come to America and thumb their noses at us and look down us and say that we're lazy and we're this and we're that, no, we're not. We're much, much more than that. As some immigrant groups are figuring out, you need our numbers. You need our help, because I still don't believe that Black people are more than 10 to 15% of the population in America. The numbers ain't jiving. 10 to 15% of the people in this population could not account for $1.2 trillion of buying power annually. It's not, the math is not mathing, especially when you think of that most Black people are middle class to poverty. 1.2 trillion. 10%, 15% of the population. It's not jiving. But that is what we were talking about tonight. We're an hour and 30 minutes into the show. I hope everybody enjoyed what we talked about tonight. Like I said, this was not an anti-immigrant rant. We had just talked about
Lab Addicts Music Group.
foundational Black Americans. We are the people that this country was built on. It was built on our backs. So for immigrants to come to this country and try to look down upon us, it's ludicrous. It's diabolical. And frankly, we're done. We're not taking that disrespect any longer. So immigrants that disdain Black people, it's my right. Because if you're really looking for how to get by in this American nightmare, you need to look to us for guidance. We done been through it all. With that being said, I hope I said something that will make you reach out to learn something outside your box. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zones. Learn something new. Prejudice will never win. But yeah, Black people ain't taking no disrespect. And we're going to leave on that note. It's your boy Maas. I'll see y'all tomorrow night with another hard hitting topic. Peace.